My name is Alejandro Drago, and I am a doctor in musical arts in orchestral conducting and pedagogy. But I have also degrees in violin performance and pedagogy. I am originally from Argentina, but I studied for a long time in Russia and lived and worked as well in France before moving to the United States. As I said, I am from Argentina, and my mother, now retired, was a professional tango dancer. So she used to take me to the venues where she danced very often, and there I met one of the most famous tango violinists, tango being the music of Buenos Aires, you probably know it. That was Mr. Antonio Agri. And thanks to him, I started studying the violin and music in general with members of his orchestra, which played in the same venue as my mother danced. I studied in my native country, Argentina, with two very important teachers. One of them was Elias Hayat, the director of the leading Chamber Orchestra in South America, Camerata Bariloche, and the other one was Professor Shrimsia Bayur, who was the concertmaster of the leading opera house in South America, the Teatro Colón, and a student of David Oistrakh, the famous Russian violinist, at the University of Southern Mississippi. And there I got 2 degrees. One was an additional master's in violin, but at some point I realized that I wanted to take my experience as a violinist to another level, and the University of Southern Mississippi offered me the opportunity to go for a doctoral degree in orchestral conducting and pedagogy. Professor of violin and viola, which means that I teach lessons, applied lessons on violin and viola to majors, both in performance and education, some non-majors who are advanced and participate in our ensembles, and both graduate and undergraduate students. At the same time, I conduct the UND Chamber Orchestra. Chamber Orchestra standing for a string orchestra of reduced size. Depending on the year, it can go as low as 15 members and as big as 30 plus members. But this is not a symphony orchestra, although every now and then we do engage in symphonic repertoire when we can bring over guest woodwind and brass players, which is the UND Student String Quartet, a special project that I created after I moved to North Dakota, to UND, and is a sort of ambassadorial ensemble with the strongest players in the violin, viola and cello area who receive special scholarships to practice this form of chamber music, the string quartet. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my studio. Depending on the year, there may be a predominance of graduate students or undergraduate students, but there are always both of them. And more often than not, I have a number of music education majors, people who are preparing to be music teachers. Most of them are young people driven by a passion to teach children or young people in general, teenagers you may say, music, namely strings, usually through school orchestra programs. Also, the composition of my studio is, perhaps with the exception of the piano studio, one of the most international. Our department has scholarship funds available, and they are assigned upon auditioning, so they are level-based. They are prioritarily assigned to majors. Now, you should know that other than the performance track and the pedagogy or education track, there is also the Bachelor of Arts track. And this is a degree that I could not explain in detail now, but I would suggest that if you're interested in the sciences, in medicine, if you're thinking about going to med school or vet school or law school, but you're really into music, then this is a degree for you. And we have scholarships for that too. It's a degree carefully tailored to meet your needs as a musician and meet your needs as a future, as I said, veterinarian, physician, or lawyer. Although it's not limited to these specialties. At the graduate level, we offer both tuition waivers and assistantships in a limited number, but specifically my program, Strings, has also some supplementary funds that allow us to offer research assistantships. Well, if you have followed thus far, that means you're really into music, you're really into strings, you're really into orchestra, and you very likely are considering UND as your college of choice. Well, congratulations. That means that potentially we will meet and we'll be working together. So I want to thank you for listening to this message, and if you have questions, please by all means do contact me. It's not only a part of my job to answer these questions, it's my true pleasure to guide and offer career advice and talk about the opportunities that we offer. My preferred way of contacting would be the email. You probably can see my email, but if not, it's alejandro.drago@und.edu. But definitely on my page on the departmental website you will find an active link to this email, and I tend to respond quite quickly. So again, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at UND.